Hi guys, welcome to McKola TV. I'm Adam. This is the weekend review with a little bit of transfer news thrown into it as well. First things first though, we'll start with the weekend review, and it's been a decent weekend of football, especially where Manchester United are concerned. Obviously the FA Cup will grab all the headlines. The two semi-finals meant Manchester United will take on Crystal Palace, and if you missed my review on that, then you can go ahead and check that out straight after the weekend review. I won't say much about it, but what a day it was at Wembley, and hopefully many more of those to come in the future, especially on May the 21st this year as well. Can we add that silver lining to what has been so far an awful season, really, when you look at the bigger picture? It has had a few positives though. The youngsters and of course the FA Cup run has been pretty much it, to be honest. But when you look at Marshall, Rashford, Lingard, Fosu Mensah as well, and those kind of youngsters coming through, it leaves you something to be happy with. And we potentially could have another youngster coming into Manchester United. DiMarzio has reported today that Renato Sanches could be set to join Manchester United in a €60 million deal, which will be paid out over 4 years from Benfica to Manchester United this summer. DiMarzio is usually pretty reliable. He's obviously had the news in regards to Jose Mourinho as well, saying that's a done deal. And if this was true, Renato Sanches was on his way to Manchester United, then it would seem that Jose Mourinho is too on his way, because surely it means we've got a manager in place for next season and the signings are coming, unless Louis van Gaal is going to be in charge with Renato Sanches. Who knows? But that's the news coming from DiMarzio. That's a 4-year deal where we'll pay €60 million over that 4-year period for the 18-year-old from Benfica. He can play in central midfield, attacking midfield, and out on the left wing as well. Has done fantastically well for Benfica. And obviously everyone says, watch him on YouTube, watch him on YouTube. Yes, he does look great. But you could make John O'Shea look like Cristiano Ronaldo on YouTube. So obviously you can't buy much into that. But if it's anything like the big money signing we made in Anthony Marshall, the last young player we bought for big money, and he turns out that good, then we're on to a winner. And obviously, having read a lot of opinions on him, people seem to think he does have it in the locker. We've bought some big players from Portugal in the past as well. Cristiano Ronaldo, Nani. Then we've obviously had the flops like Bebe. And the in the middle ones like Anderson, who we've all grown and loved. But he obviously didn't fulfill his massive potential at the club. So our record from Portugal hasn't been that bad. Renato Sanches coming in could be a decent move for Manchester United, and if DiMarzio is to be believed, then the Portuguese is on his way to Old Trafford. Moving on from that and to the Premier League results of the weekend. Sunderland obviously held Arsenal to a 0-0 draw in what was a big result in the top 4 battle and the relegation battle. It was a point that brought Sunderland out of the bottom 3, which means Norwich, Newcastle and Aston Villa, who are already relegated, are now beneath them. Who will escape this battle? I think it will stay the way it is now. Sunderland just escaping, with Norwich and Newcastle going down with Aston Villa. That's the way I think it will go. United have obviously got to play Norwich though, so if they upset us, then obviously they'll be closer to saving themselves from relegation. In terms of what that result means for Arsenal, it now means that if there's a winner between Manchester City and Arsenal when they meet at the Etihad, then if United win all of their games, we will finish in the top 4. If that game at the Etihad is a draw, then United could win all their games and still miss out on the top 4 on goal difference. So it's getting really, really tight at the top now. Obviously, all of those scenarios rely on Manchester United winning all of their games. But the Sunderland game was one I was looking at, hoping Arsenal would drop points. I didn't expect much from them playing West Brom at home. Coming up against Sunderland, Big Sam battling against relegation, I thought they could get a result, and they did. It could have been better as well, but the point was okay. So now if Man City can beat Arsenal, United can pip them and probably take their top 4 trophy as well as their FA Cup trophy all in one season. That'd be funny, eh? But as I've said before, the top 4 and the FA Cup does not paper over the cracks of Manchester United. As good as it would be for Manchester United and these youngsters coming through, getting a taster of success, getting their first piece of silverware with that badge on their chest. And obviously the likes of Wayne Rooney, who has never won it at Manchester United, so it'd be a medal that he hasn't got yet. Obviously in the title race, Leicester City beat Swansea, comfortable victory as well without Jamie Vardy, 4-0, and now it goes over to Tottenham Hotspur, who have West Brom at home on the Monday Night Football. They could close that gap again to 5 points, which would mean when Manchester United take on Leicester next week, if we defeat them, we can give Tottenham the chance to move 2 points away from Leicester City. Big games coming up though. Tottenham have got some big games as well in their running, and I do think Leicester City will just make it over the line. They've got 3 games left. Manchester United away, Everton at home and Chelsea away. I think one more victory will do it, and if they don't get that at Old Trafford, which I'm hoping, fingers crossed United do the business, because we need the victory for top 4. If they don't do it at Old Trafford, then they could do it against Everton at home, and I'd fancy them to beat Everton at home, to be honest, especially with the way Everton have been playing recently, despite the fact they put up a battling performance against Manchester United at the weekend at Wembley. So, guys, that's pretty much it for today. There was not really any more notable results. Obviously, Liverpool squandered a 2-goal lead against Newcastle and Rafa Benitez. That was an interesting one. So that's pretty much it for the weekend review. As I was saying, the FA Cup has pretty much stolen all the headlines this weekend. Not a lot of Premier League action going on, but the action that we did see, obviously, Leicester City winning 4-0, Manchester City winning 4-0, which means now the gap between us, Arsenal and City is 5 points, and we have a game in hand. It's going to be so tight in the race for the top 4, so tight in the battle at the bottom. And are Manchester United about to sign Renato Sanches? Get your comments below on the top 4 race, the transfer rumours, and of course the battle against the drop. And I'll see you later.